Here. And now we have something very special. Joining us via webcam feed from New Orleans, Louisiana is Mr. Brian Altunian. He's the President and Chief Operating Officer of Platinum Studios Incorporated, stock symbols PDOS. Brian, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Don.
Brian, we're anxious to find out why you're in New Orleans, but to begin with, why don't you tell us again what it is the company does?
Well, Platinum Studios is an entertainment company with a very large library of comic book and graphic novel material, which we adapt and we produce for film entertainment, merchandise licensing, toys, basically all kinds of entertainment media properties.
So what exactly are you doing in New Orleans? Tell us about that.
Well, it's kind of an exciting time for the company because we're here about to start principal photography on our first feature film, a property called Dead of Night, based on an Italian comic book character called Dylan Dog. A very famous horror property in Italy and in Europe. Not seen much here in the States, but we're bringing a very cool American sensibility to a really well-known European comic. So we're very excited. We've got Brandon Routh as the star. Brandon was in Superman Returns, so very familiar with the comic book genre. We have Kevin Monroe, who's our director, who directed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and so we've added some people recently this week that make the beginning of this principal photography very exciting for us.
Well, Brian, this has to be incredibly heady times for the company. I mean, here you are, you've been a licensing company, and now you're in the process of shooting your first feature film.
Yeah, it is. You know, for the first really the 10 years of our life, we really were an intellectual property house. We were a company that had been developing and creating and acquiring rights to comic book materials. And with this movie, in one fell swoop, we moved from an intellectual property rights house into a production company. So we've really become a full-fledged studio. And you know, one of the other things I was going to say to you as we're starting principal photography on this project, we've been able to attract, because of the whole mythos of comic books in the entertainment industry, we've attracted a lot of great high-level talent. For example, we have, as our producer for Dead of Night, we've added Gil Adler, and Gil recently just produced Valkyrie, also produced Constantine, Superman Returns, not to mention Tales from the Crypt, and House on Haunted Hill, and Ghost Ship, and 13 Guns, a long history of genre production. In addition, our makeup folks here, Drax Studios, just won last week the Academy Award for makeup on Benjamin Button. So we've attracted a lot of really fantastic Hollywood talents to this project, and to make this really an event picture. So for us, our first project out the gate, we're very excited about it.
Right, it's just that comic book characters are basically all the rage in Hollywood right now, aren't they?
Absolutely. Last year, obviously, Dark Knight just passed $1 billion in worldwide box office gross. Obviously, Iron Man, and just recently announced Iron Man 2 is going to be starting up production this year. A lot of folks are waiting for The Watchmen to come out next week, so a lot of attention being focused on comic book-based movies. So, yeah, great time for this industry.
Once again, Platinum Studios, PDOS, the stock symbol. We've been talking to their president from New Orleans, Brian Altunian. Brian, thanks for the update.
Thank you again, Don. Looking forward to seeing you in person.